Now we shall discuss about total utility and marginal utility. So first of all, we have to discuss about what is the definition of utility. Utility is a psychological phenomenon. That means it varies person to person. That means same product can provide different utilities to different persons. Let us take an example to explain this situation. There is a piece of cake and offer to different individuals this piece of cake. The first individual prefer more piece of cake. So after consuming the cake, he will have more satisfaction. But the second individual, he doesn't like cake. So from the same cake, his utility can be less. Let us discuss about utility function. Here we have written u is a function of x. Here u means total utility and x means good. Therefore, we can say that the utility will be derived by an individual by consuming the x good. If sequentially the consumer is consuming x good, his total utility will be increasing. Let us explain this situation by displaying a tabular presentation. According to the table, if an individual consumes the first unit of the x good, his total utility is 20. When he consumes second unit, his total utility is 35. Utility denoted by mu. So for the first unit, marginal utility is 20 because we have just consumed only one unit. And for the second unit, marginal utility is here 15. So here we have to know what is meant by marginal utility. Marginal utility means additional utility for additional consumption. Therefore, for the third unit, total utility is 40 and marginal utility is 5. So we can say total utility is nothing but the summation of marginal utilities. And marginal utility is the extra or additional utility for the last unit consumed or the additional unit consumed. Here one thing should be noticed, that is, for the consumption of fourth unit we can see marginal utility is 0. When can it be happened? Think about a situation. After the consumption of the third unit, the satisfaction level is completely getting saturated. Then for the fourth unit, the marginal utility can be 0. That means the person is not willing to take more. That means his hunger is completely exhausted or saturated. If someone is pressurizing the individual and providing the fifth unit, then we can see the marginal utility is negative. That means it creates disutility to him, that is negative utility. That means the consumer may be subject to vomiting because now the same product is completely tasteless to him. Now if we plot this situation in a diagram, then we can see the exact relationship of total utility and marginal utility. If we want to draw the total utility curve, then we can see the first coordinate of x good consumption and total utility is 1 and 20. That is, for the first unit the total utility is 20 and we are just taking this combination in the diagram. Now we are showing the second point also. That is, for the second good consumption is 35. Here already we have taken all the coordinates one after other. Now by connecting all the points by a curve, we can have the total utility curve, or simply it is called utility curve. This way we can have the curve for the marginal utility. Just from the tabular definition, from the tabular presentation, we are taking all the coordinates here and plotted in the diagram, and now we are having the marginal utility curve. Now one thing is very interesting to us. According to the tabular presentation, we can say initially total utility is increasing. That means for the first unit it is 20 and for the second unit it is 35. For the third unit it becomes 40 and in the fourth unit it again 40. So we can see initially it is increasing and after a certain level it becomes constant and maximum. According to our presentation, when it becomes 40, it becomes constant as well as maximum. And after that total utility is again decreasing. And at the same time, if we focus on marginal utility, then we can see initially it is decreasing. Then after a certain level, it becomes 0 and after that it is negative. Now, if we look at total utility and marginal utility together, then we can see the relationship between total utility and marginal utility. Initially, we can see that when total utility is increasing and marginal utility is decreasing. And it is happening for first three units. That is consumption of first unit, second unit and third unit. And in the second stage, for the fourth unit, total utility becomes maximum and constant. In the tabular presentation, we can see for the third unit, total utility is 40 and for the fourth unit also it again 40. That means change in total utility is 0, which means marginal utility equals to 0. So we can speak for the fourth unit consumption, there is no additional utility derived by an individual or consumer. In the last stage, we can see that is for the fourth unit consumption, total utility is diminishing or decreasing and marginal utility becomes negative. Marginal utility is negative means the person is getting pressurized to consume the goods or commodities. This is why it creates disutility or dissatisfaction to the consumer.